The Israeli ambassador has been called to the Foreign Office tomorrow in connection with the assassination of a leading Hamas figure in Dubai. It's alleged the killer gang used fake British passports. And Gordon Brown has ordered an inquiry into that part of the story. But with suspicion clearly now on Israel's intelligence service, Mossad, and the feeblest of denials from the Israeli government, what should be the implications for relations between Britain and Israel? Peter Marshall reports.
It's an assassination where everything but the murder happens on camera. There's the victim, a militant trying to fix an arms deal. The scene, an international hotel. The killers, disguised as innocent tennis players. All can be seen. But who was behind it? That's the hidden hand. The suspects, Mossad. Mahmoud al-Mabou arrives at the Al Bustan Rotana Hotel in Dubai. He has no idea the two men alongside him at the desk are part of a team who are about to kill him. So far, photographs of 11 members of the hit squad have been released by police in Dubai. All were using fake identities, 6 of them the IDs of British subjects. This is the fake Paul Keeley. The real Keeley, who lives in Israel, was shocked at what had been done in his name. The Israeli press seems in no doubt this was a Mossad hit, although there are other potential suspects.
I believe that any professional organization, security organization, whether it's the CIA, the MI6, the Mossad, the Jordanians, the intelligence, the Egyptians, all of them would have done it more or less in the same way.
But given the target, given the nature of the operation, given where it happened, it looks like Mossad, doesn't it? I mean, if you had to choose.
Well, I'm not sure, because the Jordanians and the Egyptians also have been involved in similar operations in the past. Hamas is not their cup of tea, but obviously Israel is the immediate suspect.
From the moment Mahmoud al-Mabou arrived in Dubai, he was shadowed by his killers. 19 hours later, they were gone and he was dead. In the meantime, they'd been constantly changing appearance. One of them, apparently bald, is on camera going into a washroom. And then, with a full head of hair, the same man emerges. Mossad is known to have cloned IDs or doctored passports in a number of previous failed operations. In Norway, in July 1973, the agent Sylvia Raphael was arrested over an assassination attempt. She was using a Canadian passport in the name of the photographer Patricia Roxburgh. In Bonn in 1979, they supplied British passports to a courier secretly negotiating to sell Israeli arms to China. In Jordan in 1997, Mossad agents using Canadian passports were arrested after a failed attempt to assassinate the Hamas leader, Khaled Mashal.
In all these cases, and maybe others which we don't know, the various countries, the respective countries, protested. And Israel apologized and promised not to repeat it.
While Israel is admitting nothing, the Israeli ambassador has been summoned to the Foreign Office tomorrow to discuss the matter. The serious organised crime agency is investigating, and Gordon Brown said he'd be looking for answers as to how and by whom British passports had been abused.
We've got to carry out a full investigation into this. The British passport is an important document that has got to be held with care. Evidence has got to be assembled about what has actually happened and how it happened and why it happened, and it's necessary for us to accumulate that evidence before we can make statements.
The Tories say the Prime Minister himself has questions to answer.
The Chief of Police in Dubai said on the 30th of January that he had approached the foreign governments whose passports were being used by the alleged assassins in this case. Now, Dubai did not name the countries involved at that time, but presumably Britain was approached then. Has Gordon Brown actually known this since 30th of January and simply dithered for a fortnight?
Audacious and deadly. That's the image Mossad likes projected. What happened in Dubai will do it nicely. And whatever the politicians say, there'll be no tears in Europe for the death of a Hamas commander whose job was to procure arms from Iran for the Gaza. It's a murky world, and some are suggesting at some level there may even have been collusion.
I suspect that Mr. Ahmadinejad and Mr. Hania, who is the chief of the Hamas movement right now, both of them managed to build a very large international coalition against them. And I will not be surprised to hear 20, 30 years from now, when the archives will open, to read that this operation was an international operation, maybe with the backup of some Western intelligence communities, etc.
That's speculation, this is reality. Mahmoud al-Mabou gets into the lift. He's followed by two men dressed for tennis. They're the hit squad. As he leaves, one follows him to get his room number, the other watches the corridor. Within hours, they or their colleagues will return and kill him by strangling or suffocation. That was last month. The killers, whoever they are, were long gone days before the death was noticed to be anything other than natural.